Yes, there you go. That's exactly what you can do. That's how broken it is. That's so funny. In this video, I want to cover the new meta for the Simpsons season. Now, there's already been a meta change since this tournament that we're watching, which was last night, which I'll cover later on. It's all about the fishing, which is crazy. The first thing I want to look at, though, is the inventories and like the kind of items that players are starting to carry. So let's just have a look through, see what everyone has. We have Hammer Pump, unsurprisingly, Thunder Pump. I mean, I could come out. Thomas and Focus playing Thunder Pump, both running pistols, which is kind of interesting. I don't know what's happened before this. I'm just kind of skipping around. Dennis, Thunder Pump. Obviously, most people are going to use Thunder. Spread of ARs. Almost everyone carrying suppressed pistol, which is funny because if you watch my meta video, you'll know that I was not a fan of this choice. Everyone is running a pistol. Maybe this is an ammo reason. Maybe I'm just I don't know anything. Maybe I don't know ball here. I mean, it's not the first time, but let's see. Pistol. Okay. Literally everyone is like running a pistol. This is surprising to me. This is right. Okay. This is the first person I've seen who's running the Ranger shotgun, which is pretty good in Endgame. Does he get a bunch of kills? No, he does not. Okay. Maybe it's not that good. We take it back. A few people running infantry so far. Another pistol player. See, there is a lot of pistols. I put this in my early game only. If you watch my meta video or my weapons ranked video, what I'm seeing so far, the main trend, everyone's running Thunder Pump. Unsurprisingly, it's the best shotgun for the most part. Not really. There's a couple people are taking tack, but pretty minimal. Mainly, if you're going to take attack, you do also need to take the infantry, or don't need to take the infantry. Sorry. If you're going to let me phrase that differently. If you're going to take the infantry, it probably makes more sense to take the tactical shotgun at the same time, because then you can shoot in close range. You don't have any closer draping if you just run like a Thunder Pump with this, really. And more people running pistol than I thought. Maybe it's just because the higher rarity. I might go back and see how these people like got them. Maybe there's like an easy way to get them, something. I'm figuring out the meta as you are. This is literally the first thing I've seen. So okay, yeah, definitely number one trend. AR, maybe preference. There's a lot of variety in the AR, but there's a lot of people who are running the pistol. So let me see. Also, I would also note there the other pistol, the Mr. Blasty. Not that many players running it, right? Like this player has, I think we've seen 2 so far out of the entire. Let me just go to another one who's Sky's running one. Sky and Scroll did win. Okay, Sky and Scroll won this game, and they're both running pistols though. So maybe I'll have to come back to them. I'll come back to them. There's a lot to take in here. Lots of pistols being run. The winner's running the Mr. Blasty pistols instead. A lot to take in. All right, our skill has the gold pistol. I want to look at the suppressed pistol first, because obviously this one is a bit of a surprise to me. I have used it, and obviously it's a good gun, but I've never felt like it felt amazing. My kind of analysis on it was if you found a lower rarity one, a higher rarity one, sorry, it's probably worth carrying over one of the better ARs. Also, the ARs aren't like insanely busted either. Let's see off the rip. 25. I guess if you hit 2 headshots there, or a headshot there generally, that's 50 damage for 1 bullet, and it fires pretty quickly. And it reloads obviously very fast as well. Spoiler, they don't actually get any like kills out of this, so I'm not going to watch the rest of this fight. But maybe the suppressed pistol is better than I thought. That's very surprising. I need to test that a little bit more. And this is also the other thing I was saying before, where if you have the infantry rifle and you have the Thunder Pump, like your pressure on walls is so minimal. You have to pickaxe, right? You don't have like a high structure damage weapon. Like it's not like a Sentinel Pump where you can just shoot a wall with it. I'm gonna do a full video of this on my main channel actually, analyzing how different fighting is now because of the Thunder Pump. Yeah, instead of the Sentinel. Basically, it's gonna be a whole video moaning about how I don't like the Sentinel Pump. How unskilled it is. Yeah, but this loadout infantry Thunder, not great because obviously like the no depth pressure, but like I already mentioned, Sky and Scroll who won this both use the Mr. Blasty, which is kind of like a similar loadout, so I want to watch them. All right, Burns Manor. I have landed this POI a few times. I'll be honest, this is the most annoying POI to fight at ever. It's like chapter 5. Ooh, nice headshot from Sky there. Nah, yeah, it's an awful POI to fight at, I'll be honest. This drop spot is pretty, I don't want to say it's pants, it's got a lot of chest, it's really good, but the fights, like you can just sit and hide inside like Moneymaker land in here. This is like a perfect drop spot for him because he can like rat around and hide in like a little corner or something. But yeah, fighting people in this is annoying. But yeah, headshot with the pistol, insta like 100 damage, really strong. But again, like he's carrying in the minute triple weapon. Obviously it's early game, so he's not had the opportunity to get much more. But yeah, the ability to like spray, and having no spray is really bad when you run with the pistol, and then you're almost forced to run triple weapon, which I know they don't do later in this game. But so for scenarios like this where you're just rotating, you're in the open super early, like second zone, like game's barely even started, 70 there, like that was a headshot. Obviously 79 damage and 1 bullet is absolutely nuts. Like for a surge heavy game, a pistol or the infantry rifle is just always going to be infinitely better. So I'm not surprised they're both running it, because I mean, they're obviously good players. They'll be confident fighting just with a pistol alone. But they also don't really take a fight from here on, maybe up until this point. So maybe I'll check that later to see how they pressure, etc. with it. Also, another thing that's really important is that this season, everyone is playing Storm, right? Like Sky's playing Storm. I was going to say, everyone's playing Storm to do fishing. In this tournament, fishing has been nerfed, which again, that's another thing I'll come back to. Maybe after this game, because I don't know if they're going to do it or not. Because it's a win format in the eval cups, that means like I don't know if Storm sickness is going to kick in yet. This is literally the first game I've watched, so I'm not going to go to the end to be able to see see it. We'll come back to that. But having one player like Sky right now who's tanking the storm, whereas Scroll is taking no storm damage, so he's not taking any. So come to the end game, if he needs to play heal off, he'll be the one who's able to do that because he's not taking a single tick of storm, which is good. Ooh, little player sneaking up in the bush. Sky's probably too far. Let's see if he has the trigger control right now. Well, he's taking a bit of storm now, so that's probably immediately counteracting my previous analysis. I'll just go for the shot. 50 crack. Cracks both of them. I mean, one single bullet for 54 is honestly, they're so broken. This is also only just a blue variant as well. This is the gun I said in my main video that this is great to play with. Like, playing with a pistol feels so fun, but with other people in the lobby who are playing it, doing stuff like this, you just get tagged and like rip your shield all the time. So that's kind of where everyone is just going to be playing Storm, because you can keep away from all the players who's just like sitting, holding you and tagging you and just not wasting your shield. All right, early playing medkits as well, just to obviously not die. Some good analysis for you. Also going to use this Slurpee early on just for rotation. Well, for the shield and rotates, obviously. It's only like 20, or sorry, 25, 30. I always forget how many heal. It's only 20, so I only got 20 heal out of that. But I guess they're just pretty far behind and need to rotate deep in as well. Also, one thing that, because this is the same as the Nitro effect, is it the Nitro effect? Whichever one it is, or the Medallion. You can run on water with this too, which is funny. And there's so much water in the map, obviously mainly in this crusty area here, but a little faster rotates around this portion of the map generally. I don't know if there's any, like, if you have an end game here, you know, if you really want to make sure you've got a rough rotate and you're going across water, like popping one before you go be useful. This particular match, not really something to worry about. Of course, this is what I was going to talk about. They are carrying it, as everyone else has been, the big fishing rod. Now, all this analysis is basically going to be completely pointless because they've nerfed this right after this tournament, as I mentioned earlier on into the video. So we will see the strategy, and then I'll tell you how you can adapt it later on. Also, actually, important to note, they're both carrying fishing rods, which I think is pretty funny. Yeah, another important fact is that bushes this season are actually insanely good or insanely bad, depending on how you really want to view it, right? In order to actually see through it, look how close you have to get, right? Obviously, I'm on higher graphic settings right now. Look how close I have to get. As say if I was a player here and I was walking towards this bush, in order to actually see them, obviously you can't see the dog, but this is how close I need to be to actually be able to see one of them, which is like walking straight into it. There's like no way you could possibly spot someone that's in it because the bushes are so thick. But from their POV, you can actually really see. The reason I say this is also kind of bad is because if someone else jumps into your bush, it is really difficult to track them. I had this instance the other day or yesterday where I ran through a bush while I was getting shot, and I just got like shot, cracked, and it was impossible to find them. But yeah, anyway, fishing strat. There was a 26% chance of getting the mobility fish, blinky fish, that's what they're called. I can't remember the names right now. So the fact that they both have one Slurpee each, obviously this is duos, and the fishing rods mean that they're upping their chance of getting the blinky fish possible. So ideally you want to go into endgame 3 blinky fish each, because that means you basically have 3 different zones you can rotate with the dashes, because that's what they do. So basically a lot of teams are just boxing over the water. If I zoom out here, right? If I zoom out here, you're going to see a trend, right? Just on this water, Gonzo's here. Maris, guess who's fishing? Oh, he's also fishing. What a surprise. Gonzo fishing. They're fishing. Anyone else down here also fishing? No. Maybe further deep into storm. Let's take a look on the map. Yeah, there's more players down here. Maybe these guys are. Yeah, we got fire and fishing. Probably these guys. Yeah. And they've already got tons of blinky fish. Artists got it. You know, there was a short that I'll be putting out. You can do this in storm too, like up at this part of the water up here, where you know you can fish in the water in storm and skip a bunch of the mid-game zones. But honestly, like I don't really think that's necessary. If you can just get to a point that has any water, you know, this strategy will work. So obviously, as you can see right now from Artist POV, he's doing it. He's got tons of floppers as well because they've been here much longer. They've tons of excess blinky fish. So ideally, I mean, this is a crazy loadout. The fact that they're currently, I wonder if they continue to carry this. No, well, they just die straight after. Well, I don't think that matters. The idea is that you want to fish up 8, or they want them to fish up 8. So you have 3 in each inventory slot, and then 2 left over. So you can just pop 1, take your AR, and then go. So then you have 6 for the rest of the game, which is, you know, 3 rotates each. However, again, like I said, this has now been removed. So you need to do fishing spots for this. So as this has now been changed, as you can see, fishing, no spot. This is basically what you get now. So you get small fries, floppers, and shieldfish, which is kind of only what you would basically get previously. So you can still technically do this strat if you want to just stay in storm with floppers and shieldfish. Like you can carry a fishing rod to still fish this kind of stuff if possible. However, more importantly, now the fishing spots themselves are much more valuable. So I don't know if this is going to be a trend going forward, but as you can see, there's still like a 19% chance of getting a blinky fish from one of the fishing spots. And you still get good loot, right? Like 27% chance of getting a shieldfish, 27% chance of getting a flopper. Not really a great chance. You really don't want to get a weapon, I'll be honest, if you manage to get one of these. But if you look at the hypermap, what's interesting about the fishing spots is that they're basically all on the east of the map. Now, what really been cool is if, you know, we've got some Simpsons lore and, you know, the nuclear power plant had corrupted the maybe that's the lore. The nuclear power plant has corrupted the water around them. That's why you're getting blinky fish. There you go. Fortnite, I'm doing your job for you. Come here. I've just hit my glasses as well. That means there's no fishing spots on the west side of the map pretty much at all. Let me turn also other stuff as well. You don't need to see see that. So Camp Krusty, obviously still super powerful because there's so many potential fishing spot spawns here. I don't know if they're 100%. I think they might be 100% spawn rate either way. Same with the east of the map here, off the edge down here. This spot, I think Clicks is landing at this spot, is also now probably going to be one of the best. Obviously, you're not going to be using a fishing rod in the mid game, or most teams probably won't be, kind of like we've just seen with all of the teams in this current loadout. Off spawn, right? You win this spot, you fish, and then you can at least guarantee that you have 3 blinky fish each, because they're also quite hard to find from chests, so in duos to try and get that much. So I think the teams landing at the north, basically on the east of the map, are at quite a big advantage now going forward in the tournaments. Again, not in the game we're going to watch, because they're going to have way more like access to blinky fish, basically. All right, they have their 2 Slurpees left. Zone pool's max west for them. So this is actually probably the best time to use the combination of these two. So Sky uses his, Squirrel uses his as well. They have the leftover shield fish. They also pop when they leftover blinky fish. Now they can do this massive rotate where you dash, you slide. Thing is, like, this is a really nuts rotate. Like, this is, I'm not gonna say overpowered, but like this, I mean, it really is. You can literally go like halfway across the map. I think you go like 500-600 meters with this, right? You can basically travel the entire distance where they went, right? Which was what, from here, full dead side in this 5th zone in one single rotate, which is nuts. It's super broken, but it takes up 2 inventory slots per person, because you both need Slurpee fish and you both need blinky fish. So I think this is like a really nice way to balance like super strong rotates like that, where you really only have 1 or 2, right? Because you don't want to be carrying all of those items. Like, you don't want both players to carry blinky fish and also carry Slurpees throughout the entire game, like 3 each if possible, because that makes you're basically carrying 4 inventory slots across your 10 total just for rotation items and not heals. What they ended up with also is, because they fish, they have tons of shield fish, they have the floppers, minis and splashes and whatnot. So they don't actually have that many bigs. So like if they get tagged it's all down to 50, they basically just have like the splashes and then also the shield fish to work with. Also classic, great reharvest as always in these kind of zones, just making sure you're like as cap mats as possible by just rotating somewhere and just reharvesting, always very good. And now that they have 3 blinky fish each, this kind of rotate is just perfect, right? You've got a max zone, it's rough. Sure, you're going to take some tags, take some damage, but like just absolutely legging it. It's also very hard to die instantly in this. So obviously if someone has an infantry rifle or the pistol, they can like 2 headshot you really quickly, but as you're dashing it's so difficult. So you saw there, as Sky rotated, he basically dashed once or twice, he got shot, he built a couple bits of wood, and then he just kept going anyway, because there's not really a huge amount of need to stagger, because it's so hard to spray you as you're like dashing away, even in, you know, pro lobbies like this. So another thing I really like here is the high layering. So if I scroll out, no pun intended, they are building into the sky though. The higher layers when you're running things like pistols is so good. So if you're like stuck down, I mean higher layers generally are good, right? But if you're like stuck down or like you've got such little opportunities to loot, but if you built up into these kind of spots, if someone's rotating up high, if someone's built up or whatever, you just have much better angle just to get tags with a pistol. As I was saying that, he did actually get a kill, especially since they rotated early with the dashes. Now they're ahead with pistols on height. Who's the poor buggers at the backside? Who are you? Where are you? Oh, it's just CCB, just rotating by foot. I guess that's the thing. Like, if you've got the dashes and you're able to get ahead front side super early, obviously you have zone prior and everyone too then. So with those high layers, you can look back, get free kills. So yeah, fishing strat, extra strong. Ooh, this could be nice. Ah, they've spotted it. That was unfortunate. I was wondering if they're going to dash and just dash it or pop that, get straight into the back. Nice. The high layer here also has been really nice. They just dashed over the top, little slide, tarping up. The high layers, dashing with fish, very nice. And obviously, they only have like 1 more dash rotate left here now, right? That's what I mean. Like, the mobility of this item this season is pretty minimal, right? You don't have a ton of, you know, infinite mobility that you can use every single season. So you actually have to do a lot of tarping. So I think taking Storm is not bad in this instance at all for the end games, because ultimately the chance of these games going down to heal off is really low. Heal off nearly always happens in metas where you have a lot of mobility items, because you know, then you don't have to use as many mats basically, so everyone stays alive for longer. This is what I mean by the pistol. Like in the end game, there's such a limited pressure ability with the pistol. Like, it's so good for obviously like getting tags and you know, getting elims in the mid game. Like, they've always got 4 up until this point. But if you're trying to spray and pressure someone in the end game with a pistol, it's just really rough, right? They've used their next blinky fish in the 9th zone rotate. Same thing before, really nice. Just a little, ooh, they got hit by the balloon. They just used 1 single dash and then slid to the front. So the thing is, like, they're not even using the rotate. Obviously, because at this point in the game, it's tough to use the blinky fish to continually dashing. They basically use a single fish for a single dash to get to the front side. But that does skip the vast majority of these zones, right? They are down to 30 builds now, so pretty low materials. Because again, he's just been tarping like the entire zone. The player on height is also spamming with a pistol. Who is that? Let me check. If you haven't noticed yet, the Mr. Krusty's Mr. Blasty, not Mr. Krusty, is insanely strong. I wonder if we're going to see a nice height retake here. Yes, there you go. That's exactly what you can do. That's how broken it is. That's so funny. Okay, so the thing is with Blasty, it basically attaches a balloon with the first shot that you use on it, but you don't actually need to hit them or near them. There you saw Darm shoot the floor, so he shot underneath where the player was on height, which sent Art Skill flying up into the sky. This thing is so unbelievably broken. You can see same thing, right? As players are tarping here, Gonzo. Just pop with the med kit with a balloon. You can basically shoot near their tarps. There, that was Sky. That player there, he just shot with Sky, which we saw from his POV before in there. Yeah, so basically by just like shooting at the top of people's tarps or near them, you can either send them up into the sky or you can just scuff their rotators totally. Like, look at the amount. Oh, nice. And got a nice kill out of it as well. Like, look at the amount of players who are just trying to rotate here and just struggling down below. And even if you hit a headshot, right? The hip fire accuracy, this is so insane. It's like the strength of the gold one. Like, all he was doing there was hip firing as the player was walking out at a 103, and Thomas HC is just dead. So I guess like the spray ability of this gun, obviously the non-mythic version of this gun or non-exotic version of this gun, isn't that powerful. But if you actually connect, it's so strong. And then obviously the exotic here, where you're just able to fire people into storm and kill them like this. Like, this is so unbelievably broken. It's actually them that's repeatedly getting shot by this over and again. Again, you know, we saw one of those shots before, but repeatedly there, their heads just got shot over and over with the pistol, which is didn't really scuff them, but if they tried to jump, it ended up would have. You can see again. Yeah, exactly. Exactly like that, right? As he tried to jump out, the balloon was attached. So he got hit as he was trying to fall there, because he would have been able to avoid that shot if not. You know, playing, even though like height at earlier layers is really good, in those second height layers, as we saw there, can be a little rough. They're upstairs. Oh, Mr. Savage. Oh, okay. Mr. Savage dead in the backside of Storm. Can we grab that loot? We can. Players behind them trying to push through. He gets full boxed. Sky, Scroll goes down. Sky actually left as a solo. So this is a game where it's obviously money per win. And Sky managed to clutch this up and win as a solo, which is really impressive. Burgers also insanely powerful, if you didn't know. I have a short on those. They're absolutely the meta. I'm going to look at drop spots after this, because drop spots are so good. I've not actually had like a full look at the map. I'm going to do a full video looking at the map and like the changes to the Storm as well this week. This video will probably be first though. I know this will be first. I 100% know this video will be first. I've been playing Bills down on low, chopping all the way through. Zone pulls back. Doesn't seem like a single player is playing a low ground, which is funny. Which in, you know, in these like scuffed games, it's kind of rare, but I guess because the zone ends up pulling back, it ends up favoring him because everyone has their tarps up above that they don't need to drop down to him through. You know, it's really funny. I said this wasn't going to go to a heal off because you need mainly a mobility meta to do that. But this game has had a lot of zone pullbacks, so it seems to be pulling straight towards a heal off. And Sky does have enough for it. He has tank Storm. Again, this isn't going to be a kind of meta where you have to play for like 6 full med kits to try and win a match. Nice ramp over his head to try and block the back if anyone's sneaking behind him. He's literally, for 2 zones, by the way, just been chopping back through. Goes to play the med kit now. Pretty much very minimal white heals throughout the rest of the lobby, so play the med kit. I guess that's how... Ooh, is he going to find anything? Chug splashes. That's lucky. Nice. Chug splashes to play the burger only gives you 10 white HP, so it's not great for that. Someone's chasing him. Shoots him in the back. Gets another chug splash off. Good way to dip. That player dies to Storm. Is he going to siphon? More bandies here. This is... I think that's the spot where Sky ended up dying with his bandies on it. He gets the siphon and dart. Ooh, nice laser. That was for the pistol. The suppressed pistol. Maybe the suppressed pistol's the truth, and I just don't know what I'm talking about. Let me go check, actually. All right, so the first thing, I guess the hip fire on this is actually really good. I maybe need to test this in comparison to an AR. This is a gold version, but what about blue? Yeah, blue is also really good. I guess for like not ADSing, just as you're like moving around, the accuracy on this is pretty good. Let me try it with another weapon. Still pretty good with these two, right? In that scenario. Same in that distance, it still feels like the DPS is better. It definitely feels way more accurate in like close range jumping scenario. Maybe not than the modular. Than the striker. Let me check the... If I was jumping, right? Look at the crosshair. Yeah, I guess the crosshair is still way closer in. Yeah, especially when you compare it with this, right? So like from a hip fire, just like jumping, I guess the accuracy is actually really good at this gun still. I'm sure you have to reload it a lot, but also like the 2 times headshot multiplier is so crazy. So, and there's literally no recoil either. If I was sitting crouched. What about with the blue? Is that the same? Yeah, that's kind of the same. There's literally like no recoil. Even from a hip fire, it's pretty damn good. Okay, this is a weapon I did test a lot in my main channel video, and I test using it too, but I never really found like a higher rarity one to try it. So that's something that maybe I would change. Maybe the suppressed pistol is also the meta. This thing is actually kind of a cook. But Skvi, as you can see, has them. There's 8 that spawn here. So 8 of these burgers that spawn here, and each one of them gives you 30 shield and 10 white HP, and they're stackable up to 6. So each player in the team can have a stack size of 6, as you can see, and there's some left over for them to heal if they need to as well. So from this one spot, this little, small little, you know, house and chest here, like what's actually the rest of the loot? Hold on. Yeah, there's not like a huge amount of loot here whatsoever, right? Like a couple chests here, a couple chests here, a couple 100% chest spawn rates as well in this area, but the steamed hams make this way better. Same thing with like this drop spot down here, but this is actually insane, like way better. As I mentioned, this drop spot at the south has 2 of those spawns, all of the fishing spots that we talked about earlier, a launch pad that's here, but the launch pads, to be honest, don't really send you that far because it's not like the high launch pads from the last chapter. Is that right? There's 2 ammo chests here. That can't be right. Hold on, wait, I got Bro, what's this shit? There's 2 ammo crates. No wonder. I was landing here in rank the other day, and I was like, why do I have no ammo coming out this way? There's 2 ammo crates. Why did Epic hate this spot? I mean, it's great. I outside that. 2 ammo crates. I guess you get 3 down there. There's a couple more. Is there anywhere? Let me, whilst I'm here. Okay, there's tons here. I feel like a lot of this season, I don't have any ammo. Okay, there's no ammo crates here. They seem to be very frugal with the ammo crates this season. There's a lot in this area. This drop spot here, which has a rotation fan's fine. It's literally just that one area that seems to have none. Like, there's not a lot if you go to the north. There's a few here. Okay, that is so strange. Epic really hate this portion of the map for ammo. Anyone who's landing here, you get no ammo. That is insane. Okay. However, like I already mentioned, though, they do have access to the steamed hams, aka the burgers, and also the fishing spots, which arguably, and all of these fishing spots, and there's some more argument. There's a lot of like floor spawns in this area too, so like you're still gonna get some ammo, and if you fish, you'll get more ammo from like ARs and stuff. So it's not that bad. That kind of balances out this drop spot quite a bit. There's also a lot of chests, which you still get more from. But I guess if you're landing here, there's even more reason to take a suppressed pistol because you're going to be splitting the ammo. One person having mini ammo, one person having assault rifle ammo too. What kind of splits? I kind of want to see what splits people are doing too in here. Milan and User doing a mid-map split. Let me open. I was going to say this is a good split, but they're basically landing on this. Maybe this too. Maybe they have like, you know, minimal chest themselves. But if this is uncontested and you kind of get access to like a lot of the mid-map, be good. Lost, this is a hill. Lost, you have access to like rotate into here. So not a bad split by any means. I don't know if they're also conned. They have even less loot. Okay. The one thing you'll notice here is that every single POI has a lot of players at it. Maybe outside of this, which is Evergreen Terrace. Have they got kills already? No, they don't. So every POI is going to have something here. These 2 guys landing here. These 2 teams here. Guys here. I really feel like there's, you know, this is the only place in this match in particular which is uncontested. Whether or not that's true or not for the rest, we'll see. This was contested. There was like 2 teams fighting here, if I remember, if I saw that correctly. Yeah, there's people here. I think someone's also dipped. There's almost no POIs you can land at or drop spots, so you're gonna be like completely uncontested every single game. CZB's chilling up here. There's basically like 1 or maybe 3-4 teams here who don't have anyone to like fight them or split their POI at all. So this is gonna be even worse in solos. Obviously there's less teams, you know, there's only 80 players total, but I think some of the main strats for solos and for, you know, whatever turns you want is gonna be splitting POIs. Like in particular, this is like Evergreen Terrace is pretty easy to split. I don't know. Let me see the actual loot. Let me actually check here. Yeah, like the loot distribution here is obviously pretty high, in particular when you also look at like the burger spawns that spawn here. So like if you manage to get these 2 houses alone, like you're gonna be stacked, you know, with the burger spawns and the amount of chests that spawn in there, you'll be fine. And then as you dip, you know, even if you like as a duo you got this and another team gets like this and another team gets this, like if you're triple conned in here, you can still get good loot and then disengage without fighting if you really need to. And obviously there's tons of loot in this area, in this mid map here, which that in itself is like a pretty good drop. There's a lot of like, you know, this split over here, the park that we looked at was good as well. There is like a lot of areas that has nothing on the map, like, you know, so out here, obviously there's a bunch here. Me and DJ were speaking yesterday. We said one of the things I really like is the fact that when you leave a POI and you have access to a lot of loot, like this, for example, here is really good. You know, if you're dropping at either of these 2 spots and you can rotate kind of in past here, that's good. So when we look at the landing locations, shout out to Sir, and I actually need to ask them if I should show this. This is part of their paid feature. I'll ask them before I post this, but shout out to them. That's part of it. Free promo, you know? Come on, free promo. I know. So this is their heat map, which shows landing locations generally. And funnily enough, as we were looking at here, this is also for like pubs and ranked, by the way. I'll look at the tournament in a second. Basically the hottest spot is that spot that we looked at before down here, which is very interesting actually. I would have thought so. Then it's the slurp drop spot, which there's a massive amount of slurp down in this corner. As you can see, there's a huge amount of slurp in this area generally. There's also slurp trucks as well. Yeah, slurp trucks down there too. There's a good amount of slurp generally across the map, but this bottom left is really stacked with it as much as possible. It's funny that this has like an outline all the way around it from people who are AFK dropping because they've not paid attention. But let's see the tournament. So for EU performance eval round 1, so this is for opens. Let's see what the heat map is off spawn. Kind of similar, right? Like this drop spot down here, like probably the most contested, right? Just in the opens format. Basically like 1% of players. So it's, you know, almost like very much. I'm trying to do the math. I'm stupid. Don't worry. I was about to say there's like a player a game, but it's not 100 people. But basically you're going to be conned if you try to land here. Same with the steamed ham house. A lot of players land in the steamed ham house, as we mentioned before. The resub short on steamed ham going crazy because everyone's landing in spots that have it. What about the other ones? Same down here. It seems like basic. I think Is that the Steam? Oh, no, sorry. That's not red. That's another one. Let me see if there's other ones. Basically, yeah, this building here has more of the burgers too. I think this does. Let me, wait, I can just overlay the burger spawns. Yeah, unsurprisingly, basically anywhere that has the hams, also very, very contested. Like these 3 spots in particular, you know, and you can see this is also is too. All that area I said earlier also has a lot of players landing at it too. There's not really any spots where like, oh yeah, this is the best, most uncontested spot, because there's not very many POIs. So you're just basically going to have to get used to fighting off spawn. In the next video, I'm going to go through a bunch of changes to the map, like how the smaller map size has affected. And I'll go in a little bit more in detail with all this stuff anyway. So basically just trying to figure out what some of the good landing spots are. At the end of the day, you have to just kind of land somewhere and you'll more than likely be contested this season, is what it is. Like, subscribe, use code resub in the shop, which I just realized I never talk about. Peace.